All right, we are continuing on. Lisa here from the Tankards Beer and Whiskey Bar podcast studio on board the Norwegian Jade in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of South Africa. Was that a mouthful or what?
Yeah.
So,
headed towards Cape Town?
It's headed towards Cape Town and hopefully on our way back to the States starting tomorrow night.
With a nice, fast, wind-pushed flight.
Yeah, it's going to be against the wind, I would say.
Well, you never know. Maybe the winds will change.
You can only hope.
Yes.
I'm Deacon Dave.
I'm layperson Lisa.
Welcome to the Deacon Dave and Layperson Lisa show. Okay, everybody, yeah, we have a live studio audience of 2 with us this morning, and we're on to Psalm 142, and so I'm going to hand it over to Lisa.
A psalm of David, when his son Absalom was pursuing him. O Lord, hear my prayer. Incline your ear to my supplication in your truth. Heed me according to your justice, and do not enter into judgment with your servant. For all the living will not be justified in your sight. For the enemy has pursued my soul. He has lowered my life to the earth. He has stationed me in darkness, like the dead of ages past, and my spirit has been in anguish over me. My heart within me has been disturbed. I have called to mind the days of antiquity. I have been meditating on all your works. I have meditated on the workings of your hands. I have extended my hands to you. My soul is like a land without water before you. O Lord, heed me quickly. My spirit has grown faint. Do not turn your face away from me, lest I become like those who descend into the pit. Make me hear your mercy in the morning, for I have hoped in you. Make known to me the way that I should walk, for I have lifted up my soul to you. O Lord, rescue me from my enemies. I have fled to you. Teach me to do your will, for you are my God. Your spirit will lead me into the righteous land. For the sake of your name, O Lord, you will revive me in your fairness. You will lead my soul out of tribulation, and you will scatter my enemies in your mercy. And you will destroy all those who afflict my soul, for I am your servant.
So Lisa.
Yes.
It's good. Nicely proclaimed as always. And what really jumped out at me is verse 3.
Okay.
Right, so the enemy pursues our soul, right? And he has lowered our life to the earth. He has stationed us in darkness like the dead of ages past. And so often, I think we forget by virtue of our baptism, right, that we already sit at the right hand of the Father. And we do. We live just like this verse 3, right, where we've allowed our soul to be lowered to just the things of the world, and especially the difficulties of the world, instead of living a supernatural life, right, that's full of abundant grace. We live sort of in this darkness and this difficulty and this struggle, thinking that, okay, there's no way I can get out of this. And you're right. There is no way you can get out of this. It is only through the power of Jesus himself that you can be lifted up out of this darkness. You can have this hope that we talked about in the last episode, right? That you can begin to realize that you are seated at the right hand of the Father already, because that's where Jesus is and you're a member of his body, right? And you can start to live a life of grace, right? A life that is not caught up in the difficulties or even the lures, right? Because a lot of that darkness, it looks like light, but it's not. It looks attractive, but it's really not, okay? It's not the fullness of what true light is. That it's like when you've been somewhere, right, and it's like it's in a dimly lit area, then you walk out where the sun is going, it's like, oh, it's so bright I can't even see. That's sort of what this is like. Often our life is us living in what we think is illuminated, and it's really not, because the devil has convinced us that this is the ultimate form of how we can live our life, and it's anything but that. What are your thoughts, Lisa?
Well, I was thinking of that analogy that we've kind of talked about before, that when we're in the dark and when we're in the dark and we're driving, it's easier to see if our windshield is dirty. But
it's easier to see if the windshield's dirty?
At night.
Oh.
At night.
If it's dirty, it's easier to see?
Yeah, compared to the light. When the sun is shining on it, when the light is shining on it.
It's not really easier to see then. It just appears, like I said.
Okay.
I get what you're saying.
All right.
Sorry, messed up your mojo.
So when the windshield's dirty and the sun is shining through it, it's harder to see because of all the dirt that's on it and all the grime. So It's kind of like what you were talking about, that when we're living like a worldly life, then we don't see all the dirt or all the things that we need to, like maybe, or like the sins or the struggles, or maybe how we're living our lives compared to when the true light of God is shining upon us. Then we can see, like, I need to work on this, or I'm really struggling with this sin. It becomes more apparent to us. But yeah.
And there's nothing that you can work on your own.
Right.
So let's just bring that out there, right? Whenever someone says, hey, I need to work on this, I immediately say, no, you need to allow Jesus to work on it, because if you could have fixed it already, you would have already done it, right? And so that's the thing. It's like when you take your glasses off, you can't see very well, right? So, you can't hardly see at all, right?
Right.
So that's sort of the kind of the world we live in. But when you put on your glasses, right, there's this whole new world that you see.
Yeah, that's a good one.
A whole understanding of what's going on.
Yeah.
And then you're right, we have to clean the windshield.
Yeah.
Allow the Lord to get the windshield cleaner out. Put some Rain-X on it too.
Yeah.
Right? Because what is Rain-X? Rain-X allows
repel it.
Yeah, so it just
like
kind of
grace.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it just kind of keeps that off. So that's all really good stuff. So any other final thoughts on this one as the enemy continues to try to pursue our soul?
No.
Lean into the Lord. I'm Deacon Dave.
I'm layperson Lisa. Ahoy.
See you next time.